Well, good morning. Thanks for joining us today for our free webinar. We do these every 2 weeks. We are Easy Marketing. We're located in Northeast Florida, but we have clients in many cities across the US and also internationally. Specialize in website design and hosting, also graphic design, email marketing, which we'll be talking about today, social media management, and we also are a certified constant contact partner. My name is Dixie, and your presenter today will be Katrine Fredriksson. She's Swedish, as we mentioned, beautiful accent, and is celebrating 20 years as owner of Easy Marketing. Our workshop today will be 20 minutes, so please stay to the end and you'll be entered to win a free consultation. So stick around for that. We'll be doing a drawing at the end. And if you've been with us our last couple free workshops, you'll know that this is a continuation of those. So we have talked about the picture, paragraph, and the call to action. And today we'll be talking more about how to get people to open your emails. So we know your time is valuable. We only have 20 minutes. So Katrine, let's dig right in.
Thank you, thank you. So we are going to look at how we can create good subject lines. And when we talk about the subject line, that is the thing that shows up just below the sender. And there are actually two kinds of subject lines. If you are, depending on how you have your settings on your email program, Outlook, or whatever you're using, but on most cell phones, you do see the headline and the subject line and what we call a subheader. So in this case here, it is going to be the one underneath the latest news for you if you look at the she's shop there. And a lot of people are viewing their emails on a cell phone, and they pull it up, and there are splits of a second when they decide if they're going to open it up. And the very first thing that make up their mind if they're going to open it up, it's who it's from. Okay, I'm sure that you pull up your phone this morning, if you see anything from your sister, your kids, your mom, your best friend, those are the emails you open first. And the emails you never will open up is the ones you have no clue who they're from. We are going to deeper into the sender and what email address to use as a sender next week. Today we're going to look at the second part of the quick decision of opening an email, and that is the subject lines. So how do we write those subject lines? When I do my 2-hour email marketing workshops, we put together, we have a content, we have the subject line, we have the image, and we have the call to action, and we kind of know that. And then sometimes we have a tendency to, okay, let's get this out, and maybe you take the headline and you copy that, even if it's 15 words long, and you just get it out because you need to get your email out. I want you to step back, sit down, take a breath, and now let's create a really good subject line so people are interested in opening up your email. So the subject line, which is the header, which everyone is going to see, 4 to 7 words. Try to get it that short, because as you can see on a cell phone, again, more than 50% are opening up their emails on cell phones. Sometimes they don't even see all the words, they get cut off. So it's important that it's short. The pre-header, as you can see, are usually a little bit smaller font. So therefore it can be longer. And some people actually opt to show more than one line of what we call the pre-header. If you were with us the last few weeks, we looked at creating this template, an email for Jack's Backyard Barbecue. And when we are talking about this, we're talking about the subject line and pre-header that is at the top. I'm going to do a live demonstration at the end of this workshop, but I just want you to see where it is when you're in working with your emails. So first of all, don't waste any space when you get going. They already know who it is from if you have the right senders. So don't do any large, uninteresting information in the newsletter. Why say deals and news August 2019? Kind of who is enticed to open up that email? Put it the most important part of your newsletter. And there are going to be a lot of examples, and I'm not going to sit and read them all in here. But you are going to get the slideshow and you can go back and look at them to get ideas how this will best work. But we're going to pull out some of the most important things and some ideas. So if you can make them laugh, if you can make it a little bit witty, that is a good thing to get things up running. If you can use numbers, sometimes look at the advertising out there, and especially billboards and the front of magazines on the magazine rack. They love using those numbers. Very good way. And it helps you write your email to you. If you say 5 tips about something, then you know, okay, I only need to come up with 5 things. And try to see if you can ask questions. That is really useful. And if you can pull on their heartstrings, yes, you know, use it. And in here, create a sense of urgency. And Dixie, what did we say about FOMO?
Oh, fear of missing out. My greatest fear above public speaking.
Yeah. Oh, fear of missing out. So yes. When you first get started, you usually have some kind of welcome email when people sign up. So in Constant Contact, when you're set up and people are first added to your email list, very often because they are choosing, they go to your website and say, oh, I want their monthly newsletter, or I want their deals, I want their updates. The first email that goes out to them, you can actually set up. So that is a special email that is different from others, and it goes automatically as soon as someone signs up. Take that email and have something really interesting. If you can give something away, a 10% coupon or whatever it is, you make them open the first email in the inbox. And it's important of another reason as well, because they are signing up. So now they are expecting they are expected to get something right away. And if they don't get it within, 30 seconds, a minute, they're going to look for it. And it can happen that it ends up in their spam folder, all depending on how you have things set up. If you use Google emails and their email, they put more or less everything into the spam folder unless you take it from the spam folder and drag it into your regular email box. And since they are sitting there, they just signed up. They maybe you even said sign up and you get 10% off. They are looking for it, and now they find it in there, and they know how to drag and drop that into their inbox. So the first welcome email is really important, and you should have some really good things in the subject line and pre-header. And sometimes it's dates, we worked with a restaurant. Unfortunately, they had to close the doors last year because of the pandemic. But every month did we send out emails to anyone that were born that month. So when they signed up, they had the option to give their birth month, and then we send out something. So this is happy birthday. So that has to do with a date, but it could also be that there is a last day, there is some kind of sign up. You need to do it before a certain date. That is a good time to put in a subject line. Offers and promotions, because a lot of people are signing up, all depending on what industry you're in. So they are signing up for your emails because of what it is in here. So make sure you put it make sure you make them interesting and make sure they look really good when you have that. But that's a good thing to put in as well. And save the date. You know, they know exactly what to expect when they open up an email. And that's something in general. Whatever you put on the subject line needs to be in the email. Don't deceive them and say, urgent, urgent, open right away. And then you have something that is, you know, something you sent out 10 times before and it's not urgent, you know, that they are not going to open it up. So again, try to be smart, take a breath, add things, use both the subject line and the pre-header. But the subject line is the most important one. Here is an example for a nonprofit. You know, a thank you. And then you might have information what's coming up. You can all go back and look at these examples afterwards. I do have a couple of don'ts. It's important, you have the urgency in here. You know, you need to make sure that don't mislead or decept in any ways. And do not use spam words. You have to be a little bit careful when you use the free and guarantee, because they can trigger spam. Sometimes, you know, I know we use free workshops on here, but it's only one word, and we decided that is important for us. But don't put too many of those spammy words in there. Never ever write anything in upper cases. Okay, if you need to put one word that you need to emphasize, you can maybe put that in upper sizes, but don't write everything in upper case letters. If you're like me, dyslexic, we can't even read it. You know, if it's a long sentence with uppercase, I can't even read it. So it's important. You know, punctuation and symbols, be careful with those. Don't take too many. Again, that will trigger the spam filters. And make it personally. Talk about you and your, so they feel that this is for them. And you can actually include their name in here. If you have imported them into your list where you have their email address in constant contact, if you have imported both their first and their last name and their email address, you can actually put their name in the subject line. That is a completely different workshop. And if you guys are interested in how to put a person's name in the subject line, let us know in the question box and we will run that workshop later on. But there is a way to do that, and that really makes things, you know, when I open up my phone and see, oh, it says my name in the subject line, you know, I jump a little bit. Okay, it says my name, because that's what my friend or my sister or my mom would say. They would talk about, Katrine, have you seen this? You can add something like that in there as well. A couple of more cute things here, where you repeat the same letters. Take a look at those. Suggest, again, we're going to keep this to 4 to 7 letters. So don't write a long sentence. Here, it's just a headline. You can keep it short, you know. New tops, new jeans, new outfits, you know, you don't need to say, new tops has arrived to our store, please come in. No, you just keep it short and sweet to get their attention. If you can refer to pop culture or famous lines, so much better. So here are a couple of power words that trigger a response. You have trust. You can encourage people. You can do a little bit of vanity and make them curious. Okay, so those are words that if you could pull those in, it's really going to help you when putting your subject line together. And again, when you've written and got your picture, your content, and your call to action, now take a step back and look at the subject line. How are you going to get them to open your email? Send an email to yourself and to your coworker and see what that looks like when they open it up on their cell phone or in the inbox, and see if the words you used for the subject line and pre-header, if they catches your attention. I find that I have to rewrite them several times before I get them really right, okay? Because again, you've spent time and energy on writing this email. Now you want it to be opened. So we have been looking at the subject line and pre-header here. Oh, okay. Just make sure you can see that. But next time, on the 7th, we're going to look at the from and reply. So I just want to do a little bit of a plug for that. So let's do a demo. I do have several screens, so I'm going to turn my head over here, and we are going to jump right into here. We're going to jump right into Constant Contact and take a look at how and where do you put this subject line. So we've been working with this template, so I'm just going to pull that up. And it is in this part up here, because the from and the reply, we're setting somewhere else. Again, we're going to do that on the 7th of April. But here is the subject line and the pre-header, and you can click right here, and this is where you can send it. So you can say, welcome. Okay, so now I haven't thought about any good lines, but new menu, open 7 p.m. today. I didn't have anything thought, but this is where you put the subject line, and this is where you put the pre-header. And we are going to click on save. So now we have changed the subject line and the pre-header. What you put up here, some people like to do the same subject line. This is only for your own list of emails in Constant Contact. Only you can see that. Very often I put email 1, 2, 3 if it is for an event, where one is the save the date, one is the announcement registration open, and the third one would be registration is closing, and I mark them up here. But all of this is just in here. This is where you want to do it. And as I said, there are more bells and whistles in here. You can personalize it here, where you go in and add the first name, for example, in someone's address, and you can even use smileys and things like that. But you can try it. It's all in Constant Contacts, Constant Contacts documentation, or you can hang on and let us know that you want us to cover those things. So again, this is where you set the subject line. Okay, so and I did include 2 slides of this, so when you go back and take a look at it and don't see my live presentation. Do we have any questions? I don't see any questions up here. Anything? Do you see anything, Dixie?
I do not see any in the chat box, but feel free to shoot us an email later. We'd love to hear from you about what you want to hear in future webinars, or if you're just having an issue or a problem or a question specific to your business or industry, we'd love to talk to you about that. So our next free webinar will be in 2 weeks. So we're going to be talking about the importance of your email header. So Katrine alluded to that. And also thank you for sticking with us the whole time here, and all of you are going to be entered into a drawing. So Katrine is going to be pulling that. We video it, and if you'll look in your inbox for an email from us later today, you will see this presentation, the slides, so that you can look at them at your leisure and refer back to them, and also that video of us pulling that drawing. And if you're interested in using Constant Contact, it's what we've been using here for over a decade. We have access to every kind of email solution. We find this one is the best for our nonprofit and small business partners, so we highly recommend it. And there's a coupon here and also in that slide deck that you can use if you'd like to give it a try.